Action Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Keith, and today I have on guest Blair Cho, who is a busy working mom with a family and a mortgage, just like most of you. And her formal education is science-based, having her bachelor's in science and nursing and her registered nursing license. You're actually the second nurse that I've interviewed
Really?
this week. Yes, I
That sounds
love
right.
it. Yeah. She's currently working full time as an administrative RN. And Blair's also an interior designer who has an ever changing personal style and a mindset coach that loves helping people level up their lives. Tired of struggling as a busy woman in today's hustle obsessed society, Blair set out on a mission to redesign her life and help other women redesign their lives as well. From mental health to spiritual health to home and personal styles, Blair is passionate about helping fellow females find happiness and joy in their lives. Blair, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited too. Yeah. I mean, we definitely live in this hustle culture, and I'm
Yeah.
sure as a RN, you know that more than probably anybody. So, what inspired you to go down this path and decide, you know what, I'm just gonna change things up, take a new path, and help other women, find their purpose and redesign their life as well?
So I have been working as a registered nurse since 2007. I've been in my current position or my current place of employment since 2008, so quite some time. I always felt like there was something more out there for me, and I've always enjoyed making things beautiful, creating beautiful outfits, beautiful spaces. Um, I was actually reading a book by Sahara Rose called Finding Your Dharma,
Mhm.
and it's all about, kind of finding your purpose in life. Have you read it?
I
It's very.
haven't, but I've listened to her podcast, so I know like all about that topic that she talks about.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a really good book, and it really hit me. It kind of just made me listen to the nudges and intuition that had been coming across to me already, saying, you're meant for more. You love making the world a more beautiful place. As a nurse, I help people every day, and so that is something that I'm passionate about. And I felt like busy women, busy working moms really needed that extra help, kind
Mhm.
of making their lives better. A big part of that is your mindset and your mental health. And I've had personal struggles with that. And I really want to help people overcome that because I believe if I can change my life, you could change yours. And my life now, over the past 15 months, I've made huge changes, eight main changes, but my life has done a 180 and I'm honestly happy and thriving now as a working mom. And I want other people to have that too.
That's incredible. Okay, you don't have to go over all of the changes, but I'm just curious, like maybe tell us a little bit about what's been happening, because that's a lot of change in a short period of time.
Yeah. So one of the main things that I do is I go to therapy.
Mhm.
I believe everybody should go to therapy. I see my therapist has a therapist. It has made a huge difference for me. And it really helps you recognize triggers, build coping mechanisms, help you understand why you're reacting to certain things and kind of heal from trauma and from past experiences. I've been to other therapists in the past who listened to me vent, but they didn't really offer any guidance or explanation. And I think just because I am like a science nerd, I'm a nurse, I want to know why, um, what caused me to be triggered by XYZ? Like,
Mhm.
what am I reacting to? So I finally got linked up with this therapist. She is amazing. She gets it. We do teletherapy, which for anybody listening, teletherapy is so available now. Like you do not have to wait months to get in. You do not have to drive and miss work to go sit in someone's office. Teletherapy is available everywhere nowadays, and most insurances cover it. So please take advantage of it because it has made such a change in my life. I highly recommend it for anyone struggling, anyone not struggling that just needs a neutral party to talk to. It's incredibly helpful. The second main thing I did was I got sober. So I used to drink, primarily on weekends and stuff. I was a beer drinker, tons of empty calories. So not only had I gained a ton of weight,
Hmm.
which was affecting my mental health and my mindset and my confidence, but it, um, it just kind of was alcohol overall was bringing me down. It was bringing me down. I am
Yeah.
on multiple medications that cannot work properly when you drink alcohol,
Hmm.
which my doctor was telling me that, and I was kind of brushing it off. When I finally made the decision to get sober, it was in November 2023, the day after Thanksgiving. And several months in, one, the weight started to fall off. I started losing a ton of weight. Secondly, my mindset, like my focus, my mental clarity, my level of joy, my level of motivation, everything improved. It was amazing. My medicines could work properly, so my health improved. Everything in my life just started to change. And yes, it did take time, but that and the therapy, I think, made the biggest differences for me. And actually, I am working on an ebook with the 8 main changes that
Oh,
I
nice.
did or that I implemented that changed my life. And it hasn't come out yet, but it will be coming soon.
I love that you bring this up because this is something that I feel like I have toggled back and forth with drinking and not drinking for a very long time. I come from a family of like big drinkers, and it's just always been like accepted and no big deal or whatever. So just starting from like a young age, I that was my crutch. When I was in the working world in corporate America, it was like I could not wait to get home and open up a bottle of wine, or really, anything. And the weekends, it was like, who wants to go day drinking, And like that's how I got through, it was my coping mechanism. And it's interesting because I think, I've gone back and forth with it. And if I say like I'm just gonna stop drinking and like I'm gonna be sober, it feels like too much for me. Like I'm not like I have to kind of just do like moderation. And I feel like people are one way or the other. They either have to like quit completely or tell themselves like moderation. So that's what I've been doing is moderation. And oh my gosh, the other day I had like maybe 2 glasses of wine and I felt terrible the next day. Horrible. I couldn't get out of bed. I was just irritable and a bad mood. I had that brain fog. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like when you go from doing it all the time to not doing it for a while and then you do it, you realize, like, man, this was how I felt all the time. And I didn't even realize it because it became my normal. So I
Yeah.
love that you brought that up because a lot of times we don't talk about it. It's like you don't want to share, oh, I'm drinking all the time?
Well, I agree with you. Drinking was really, I didn't want to consider it a coping mechanism for my life, but
Hmm.
looking back, it definitely was because, on the weekends, that was my way of socializing with people. Everyone my husband and I were hanging out with were drinking. We'd go to get-togethers, every weekend. And I got to the point where I was drinking. I never got a hangover. I could drink a ton. And I'm like, oh, I'm a professional drinker. Ha. Okay, not cool because my mental health and my physical health were spinning out of control.
Yeah.
And the more years that this went on, the worse it got. And at first, it was not hard for me physically to stop drinking, but I think socially, a lot of the people that my husband and I were hanging out with, because he actually has stopped drinking pretty much as well. He'll have like a beer when he cuts the grass, maybe, or something, but that's it. A lot of the people that we were drinking with and socializing with every weekend, we've really lost touch with. A
Hmm.
few of them we talk to here and there, but we're not going out. We're not going to the neighbor's house every weekend, anything like that. And actually, one of my friends who used to party and drink with us, she told me that I inspired her to get sober. So
Oh,
she
that's
also
awesome.
lost a ton of weight. And that really meant a lot to me because at the beginning, when I quit drinking, I was trying to tell everybody it's amazing. Like, I feel so much better. People didn't understand or they didn't believe that it made such an impact on me. And they were like, oh, you're just trying to convince us. You think you're holier than thou now because you're sober. And it wasn't about that. It was that I felt joy and I wanted to spread that joy. I knew that it was possible and that they could experience it too.
Well, and the fact that like, you did this and then it showed like your husband and that one friend like, well, I can do it too. I mean, that makes a huge difference. So, okay, so you started with like therapy and then you cut out alcohol and then did you start building your brand after that? Like, was it those things that came first or did it all happen at the same time?
No, I started building my brand after that. So I had been thinking about, my friends and my family are always calling me, texting me for interior design advice.
Mhm.
They love my help. I was coming up with like design boards for people, going shopping with them, helping them do all this stuff. And I was like, I really enjoy creating beautiful spaces. And it kind of started with that. Like, I thought about how much your internal environment and your mindset, or I'm sorry, how much your external environment affected your internal environment. So your surrounding,
Yes.
your home environment, the way that it makes you feel, truly affect your mental health and your mindset and can make or break your mood, your day, it snowballs. So I started thinking, well, maybe, I could help people make beautiful spaces that would improve their mindset. And then it just kind of led me to what I'm really focused on is creating a beautiful life overall. It's not just interior design. That's not my primary focus with my business, but just improving your mindset, your physical health, your mental health. If you need, whatever you need to improve your life and make it more beautiful, to redesign your entire life, I'm here for it. And I'm more than willing to jump in and help. I post inspirational stuff on Instagram. I have a YouTube, a podcast. Like, I'm trying to get out there and help as many people as I can because truly, once I changed my life, I realized that it could be better.
Yeah.
It could be so much better. And I want to help people see that and feel that.
Well, and I totally get what you're saying with the interior design because that's like a passion of mine. I always say, like, if I ever had to pick something else, that's what it would be because I just enjoy it. But I 100% think it is tied to your mental health because I grew up in a house where there was always like clutter and things like that. And I knew from a young age it would give me anxiety and it would like clutter my mind. And I remember trying to explain that to my dad, and he was like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what you're talking about, but I've always just kind of understood that. And I feel like, because some people think like, well, that's just more materialistic, like interior design, but I really don't think so. I think you should create a space that you absolutely love, where when you're in that space, like you feel good and you feel comfortable and you like it, kind of mimics where you're at in life. And if you're just surrounded by things that stress you out or you don't like the way they look or whatever, or they're broken, I do think that that kind of interferes with your mindset, the way you show up in life, your identity. Like I think it's all sort of combined. So that's a big thing with me too. I was like, if I want to go in all in on my business, I'm going to create an office that you know, this successful entrepreneur would have and like be proud of and love. And every time I'm in there, I just feel so good. And then, I feel creative. And it's amazing how much of an impact it has on your mindset, your motivation, confidence, everything.
Oh, absolutely. There are so many studies about color theory and how different colors affect your mood and your mindset. So, for example, in your office, if you wanted to go in there and feel super productive and creative, you may want to implement or use yellows,
Mhm.
oranges, stuff like that. If you want to have a peaceful retreat in your bedroom, maybe like blues, darker, like purple, stuff like that. There's all sorts of information about that out there. If you search for it, I've done a lot of research on it. Different colors that you should use in different rooms. You can implement different styles, textures. There's so many things out there. And yes, they can absolutely affect your mood. Like you mentioned, clutter. That is the number one thing I think I hear from people in regards to their homes that's stressing them out, especially as a working mom, for example. Not only do you have all the mail, all the paperwork, you've got all the kitchen stuff, all your clothes, you've got all your kids' stuff, kids' toys. Toys are a huge offender for clutter. So finding ways to organize and kind of go through, donate stuff, whatever, can be extremely helpful to your mental health.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have three kids. Two of them are very young. So we have toys everywhere. And that was stressing me out because it's like, you're messing up my nice house. Like there's stuff everywhere. And for a while, I was like, I was being OCD about it. I wanted to like organize it. Like, okay, we put the dinosaurs here, and we put the dolls here. And finally, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I just got a big bucket goes with the aesthetic of the room. And every night when they go to bed, I just throw everything in the bucket. And then I'm like, oh, I feel good. It's clean. It's out of the way. And it takes like literally 2 minutes. Um, but it's funny that you bring up color theory because I was just talking about this. Um, I saw people were using Chat GPT and they were doing it two ways. So, like, one way is you can do it for like your personal style and makeup, where you put your picture up there and then ask ChatGPT like what shades you should wear and like makeup or hair color, whatever. And then the other was taking a picture of a room and asking ChatGPT, design this according to like use color theory and maybe putting in some things about your personality, and it actually does a really good job of coming up with suggestions for like how furniture should fit and like what types of things you should put where. And so that's on my to-do list with ChatGPT.
That's awesome. I use ChatGPT every day for everything, but I have not come across like the part of ChatGPT where you can, I guess you could upload it in just regular ChatGPT. They do
Yeah.
have an option. Yeah, that's
You can
cool.
use
That's
it for anything. It's just so crazy. I didn't think about that either until I saw someone else talking about it. I was like, it's a really good idea. Like, I need to expand what I'm using ChatGPT for because, especially, like, you probably just can look at something and kind of know, this would look good here. But I'm not that way. Like, I have to have inspiration, like a Pinterest board or something to go off of. So I think that would be helpful for me.
Oh, Pinterest is great. And one thing I tell people when they're asking for my help, I'm like, come up with two Pinterest boards. One full of things that you love, and one full of things that you do not love. So we know to steer clear. You
Oh,
know,
that's smart.
certain colors or you don't like certain styles or textures, make a board for that so that we know what to avoid. We don't want to incorporate any of that. So,
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah, when we built our house, I had a whole board of like that I had been building for years. Like this
yeah.
board was my board. And we went in to talk to the interior designer, and she was like, when we were done, she was like, in the entire career of doing this, I've never had a couple that have come in and picked everything without me having to help and do it this quickly and with no fighting. I was like, yeah, we manifested this long before it ever actually happened. So if you could just take our picture and like put it together, that would be great. And yeah, I love Pinterest for that because it gives you such a good visual.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I actually, I've been trying to record like helpful little positive videos in the morning when I get to work in my car. And this morning I did one, and I bring this up because you mentioned about manifesting, and that really involves, trusting the universe and having faith. I did a video this morning about having faith, moving into your feminine energy and just trusting the higher power, trusting the universe, God, whatever, and having faith and letting go of control, and things will come to you and things will happen how they're supposed to.
I love that. That's it's so it's like it's so simple, but it's not. Like nobody teaches us this stuff, you know? And we all need that reminder. And when you can get that reminder from someone that has gone through it and like gets it, it's so important because no one's really helping us with these things, you know?
Right. I feel like just recording that video, people get triggered now, I think, when you say feminine or masculine energy. But okay, so everybody knows no matter your gender, we all have feminine and masculine energy. It's all about which one you're in at the moment. So I'm not just speaking to women when I say that, it's everybody. Everybody can relax into their feminine energy. Everybody can benefit from trusting and having faith and letting things come to you.
Well, and I feel like our society is set up to condition us to just constantly try to be in our masculine energy. You have to
Yeah.
be analytical and strategic, and that's not logical. And, it really encourages us to stay away from the more feminine things like creativity and your intuition and all these other things. So I feel like everyone sort of needs that right now because if you've gone through traditional schooling and you've been in the 9 to 5 workplace, like you're probably just kind of stuck in this masculine mode because that's you have to be in order to survive day in and day out in those environments. So I think the majority of people can probably use, tapping into their feminine energy and how to do that. I mean, again, like no one ever taught us that. I didn't even know there was a masculine and feminine energy in everyone until, a few years ago. So that brings me to, okay, like you do all kinds of things. You're like the jack of all trades. What kinds of things are you currently working on with clients and like who would be your ideal client and how do you help them?
So my main, I guess, business, besides posting inspirational stuff and trying to help people with their mindset, I offer digital products, downloadable products. So right now, today, I actually just launched my first freebie. It is a workbook, an interactive workbook. So it's called Affirm Your Power, 7 Days to Confidence. Each day is going to have journal prompts, reflection tools, mindset shifts, all sorts of things that you can make. So that is something that I think everyone could benefit from, and it's free. So love that. But I also have things like I have an ebook all about how to prioritize self-care, or why to prioritize self-care, examples of self-care that you could do in like 5 minutes, literally, because I found that I needed something like that. I was not prioritizing myself. I was taking charge, managing everything, totally out of control. Totally out of control. But um I felt like I was getting more overwhelmed by trying to do these quote unquote self-care things that I saw on Pinterest and stuff, that were aesthetically pleasing. But I didn't have 20 minutes to go sit in a peaceful retreat by myself and meditate and clear my mind.
Mhm.
That was overwhelming for me. One, trying to find 20 minutes to go sit by myself in a quiet space. Like, where in my house is quiet? I've got kids, but just trying to clear my mind. Like I was so stressed out and so focused on controlling and managing everything that I couldn't clear my mind. It was just stressing me out trying to do that. So, what I really found that I love to do is journal, brain dump. So, usually once a day, if not, definitely on Sunday nights or Monday mornings, brain dump, just get everything out, everything that you're thinking you need to do that day, the next day, that week, whatever, things you dreamt about, things you're worried about, anything, just put it all out. It takes such a weight off your shoulders. And that was something that I could take 5 minutes to do. After
Yeah.
dinner, I could take 5 minutes to write in my journal, or I could wake up and get my daughter ready for school and then sit there and brain dump for 5 minutes. It was easy for me to find time. So this ebook has, I think, I have like over 80 5 minutes or less ways that you could practice self-care. It's not all spa days and getting your nails done, that costs a ton of money. It takes a ton of time. I can't do that every week or
Right.
whatever. So I needed things that were realistic for me, that would work for me and help me refill my cup, as they say, so that I could be a better mom, wife, coworker. Um, yeah, and I also have actually some cute little downloads. I have like printable affirmation cards, mental health stickers, all kinds of coloring pages, all sorts of stuff. But my main thing is the ebook. I'm trying to push that out there because I feel like it's genuinely going to be helpful for people. The stickers and stuff are fun, they're cute, but the information, and it's all backed by scientific research because like I said, I'm a science nerd. But yeah, it's honestly super helpful for people, I feel like, in my opinion, because I definitely could have used it.
Yeah, I agree. I could have used that too. Like being a working mom, like the biggest pet peeve of mine was when the company that I worked for would just constantly talk about work-life balance. You need work-life balance. Don't forget work-life balance. And it was like, we're just going to tell you this so we can check the box. But then I'd be like, okay, well, what does that mean? Can I leave early? Nope. Can I get more vacation days? Nope. Can I go to my kid's school function? No. It's like,
Yep.
okay, well, you can't just say work-life balance. Like, how do I do work-life balance? And having those things that you can do that are science-backed that you can do in like 5 minutes or less, everyone has 5 minutes, everyone.
Yeah.
And I think we probably need to do that because so many people are reaching burnout, and that can really calm your nervous system and help kind of let go of some of the stress that's just constantly weighing on us.
Right. Burnout is it's like a plague across not just America, but most of the industrialized world, I feel like. I mean, everybody's working, everybody's stressed out. The workload is endless. Your time at home, when you get time at home, you're rushing, trying to get things at home done. It's very overwhelming. So, self-care is essential to your mental health. And I honestly believe that. The book talks about like habit stacking. So, when it gives you options like when you're in line at school to drop your kids off. Okay, well, there are self-care things you can do while you're waiting for your kids to get out of the car. There
Mhm.
are things like that that you can implement that will make a huge difference for you. You just have to take the initiative to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and once you do it for a certain amount of time, it'll just become second nature. You don't have to think about it. You can just sort of like do that right away. And I like to do stuff like when I'm in the shower, that's when I'll think of like abundance washing over me or just like little things like that. And it's like just standing here anyways, I might as well, do something that's gonna like start off the day a little bit more positive. So I think that's so smart. Find a habit you're already doing. I didn't think about being in the car line though with the kids. That's a good one because that is dead time where you're not doing anything. Or like on the morning commute to work for people that are commuting. There's a lot of things you could do.
I'll be sitting in my car with my voice memo app open, just talking away to myself, recording. ideas, thoughts, everything. And actually, this is something that I've done, which I love for myself. That's why I did it. But in the mornings, every morning I go into my bathroom, right? I'm getting ready for work. I've got a big mirror in front of me. So I took a chalk marker in my favorite color, hot pink, and I wrote affirmations all over my bathroom mirror. So every morning when I'm brushing my teeth, brushing my hair, I can see those affirmations and say them to myself in my head, out loud, whatever. But I'm seeing them, I'm repeating them every day. And they're in my favorite color. So it's perfect.
I love that. I have stuff like that in my closet, and I don't necessarily look at it and read it every day, but I know my subconscious is picking up on it and seeing it. So even if I'm not like going through each one, I know it's still getting into the subconscious and doing some good, spreading some positive vibes. So
Yeah.
that's always helpful. Okay, well, where can everyone connect with you, find that freebie that you were talking about, listen to your podcast, all that good stuff?
So I am on Instagram at Thrive and Design VA. I'm in Virginia, so VA, Virginia. All my links are on there. I'm also on YouTube under Thrive and Design. And my podcast, Thrive and Design, is streaming anywhere, any podcast platform. But yes, I actually, when I get off of here, I'm going to make a new post about my freebie for Instagram. So you guys check it out. And Stephanie, I'll send you the link as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll put all that in the show notes so everyone can find it really easily. And Blair, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of what you're working on. And I hope you come on again in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you here next time.